So we can go ahead and introduce ourselves and maybe like how we got into Summoner Wars and whatnot and what we're doing here. So this is the Summoner Scuffle event. So it's going to be one 45-minute game, and today it's going to be between Iridium and Fiddleford. Hoping to do a couple of these. We'll see how it goes, but it's just one for today. So it's going to be a match. Fuzzy-marmot and I are going to be commentating. And afterwards we'll have a quick conversation with the contestants. Um, yeah, you want to introduce yourself real quick? I know most people on the Discord know you, but might as well.
Yep, well, this is the first time a lot of people have heard my voice, so a little bit of a novelty. Ben asked if I wanted to commentate a game, and I was crazy enough to say yes, so we're just gonna try this. I did not picture myself streaming on Twitch ever when I first joined this community. I didn't even picture myself really hanging out with guys on a Discord, so we're just gonna see how this goes. And I guess we're waiting for the game link, right, Ben?
Yeah, and I guess that's everything. And I think people know me as well. I started playing Summoner Wars 2 years ago, like recently after it first came out. Yeah, it's just started streaming recently just to try to get more games going, get live games going. That's what we're hoping to do here. Fuzzy could maybe be a touch louder. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's give this a try. Has anything
Or
changed?
I,
I
I
am
I
looking
think
for.
so. You don't need to change anything on your end. That's on my end. I need to. I just need to turn up your levels. So you should be good. Sorry, but
Okay.
keep talking again. See if
Okay, I can just ramble on about nothing until we're
yeah. How
happy
does
with the
that?
volume
So
levels.
Tugerton, does that sound any better? Would you change it at all?
I
Um,
can keep talking until someone voices an opinion about the sound levels. I
yeah,
can
yeah.
read.
I'm looking at my levels right now, and it seems like it should be fine. But we'll wait to hear anything there, and I'll go ahead and tell them they're good to start. Um,
Awesome.
let me do this. Okay, so what we're the matchup that we're doing for today is Obsidian Dwarves versus Phoenix Elves. Um, Matchup I've only played like a couple times. We should. Oh, I guess before we talk about the matchup, we should maybe just talk about the two factions. And sort of what are their strengths and weaknesses, and what sort of play we're expecting from each of them.
Yeah, so the fire factions, I'm not gonna lie, these are the scariest for me. Um, I love how thematic both of them are. My feeling when I'm playing is always pretty much playing with fire. Is always Maldaria with 9 hit points is a hair's breadth away from dying. And Balzar with his casino rolls is really one bad roll away from needing serious help. So these guys are like juggling flaming torches as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
I could really see this being a quick match, and they've gone ahead. Yeah, sounds good. Awesome. They've gone ahead and sent the link, so you can click on that in our chat. Uh,
Yep.
all good. And yeah, so I could I could see this match going very quickly. Or lasting to the late game. We'll just have to see. Hopefully, and let me know if the game sound is too loud as well or anything. Um, yeah, so they both just have ways to very effectively blow up each other's stuff. Though Balzar is the aggressor. Balzar, in general, likes to just move up and put pressure on people's gates, blow up whatever he can. And that works better against some factions than others. Some factions, like the Shadow Elves, are just able to get to him very easily wherever he is, and that can be a problem since your game plan sort of involves using your summoner to put on pressure. Maldaria can be pretty effectively ripped through his units, but isn't quite as sneaky as some factions. So it could be it's easier than for some factions for Balzar to put on pressure and whatnot.
I'll say this. My opinion of this matchup is that the gate placement and initial unit placement actually works in Maldaria's favor. Both those gates are as far forward as starting gates go, And what that actually means is that Moldaria, instead of having to move up to her comfort spot, try to find a way to move up safely, she's right where she is right now. She can swing back and forth to the left and right of her starting gate. She can put up a gate like that and just kind of be in this preferred, you know, queen of the turrets position
Yeah,
right
yeah,
from the jump. Whereas Balzar needs a little bit more time sometimes to get set up. He needs his boosts. He needs to draw his units. He needs to build up his enough magic to afford Devura. So Maldaria, on the other hand, is pretty much ready right out the gate. She doesn't have these
yeah.
big bursts of damage the way some factions do. Obviously, you want to maximize Spirit of the Phoenix, but she's kind of ready to go, whereas he's a little bit more draw and dice dependent. So she's where she wants to be right now, and he let's see what he has in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, but we see that already. We were talking about Real Sammy already built up to 6 magic, and I think that was just one. Was it just one turn before this? Yeah. So this is Obsidian Dwarf's second turn. They discarded 2 turns for magic on the first one. Uh, Phoenix Elves only discarded 1, and yeah, that's that's a very aggressive placement. I could see a gate coming down right here. But yeah, yeah, they gotta put on pressure however they can, but they have to build up.
So this is going to be interesting what comes next. We can't see the hands right now, so yep,
Gate,
gate.
good. That's
And he's yeah,
you need that.
he's moving. Well, okay, gate and let me think about it.
Yeah.
He's
Which
pretty far up without necessarily the support units, so she can punish
yeah, I
depending
mean
on what he decides to do.
we can summon 2 guards, so that will help us out. We'll have to see that gate placement's interesting. Because it's sort of the spot in front of it is open, so Mal's probably gonna grab that spot, and if Mal grabs that with like with any unit, but like an Ember Mage in particular, it's just like it's gonna be hard to get that spot back. Then again, maybe Balsar wants to encourage enemy units to clump up.
I mean, if I'm Balzar charging forward immediately, I have something in hand. I
Yeah.
don't know though. It's not as obvious a Balzar strategy, I think, in this matchup to just charge up like that, just because Mel is so far forward already. He's not chasing down Shadow Elves from the second row. And she's where she likes to be. Like
Yeah.
I usually find with her, even though we think of her as defensive faction, she doesn't actually want to turtle. If she's
Mhm.
turtling, then she can kind of just, end up with melee in her face, and she wants to be up a bit more, but this is the bit more that she kind of likes. Especially if he's far enough up that, if he has a gate and, units are coming out and she's in a position to summon, fire beasts to take advantage of their immediate destruct, their ability.
Mhm.
So this is going to be interesting with Balzar immediately charging up like this. I don't know. I mean, I'm not comfortable with Balzar to begin with.
Is that
I'm
is
not
anyone?
comfortable with risk taking.
And this is looking like a lot of damage on Balzar right away. We might have to get an early Balzar retreat. Good forge spot in the setup. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, and with Maldaria being aggressive, yeah, like against breakers, I often feel like I need to get up there. Like Mal, like I need to be able to use my 4 attack. Well, some factions, like definitely against Obsidian Dwarves, like Cave Goblins, I feel like I can pretty confidently just sit back, and especially now that I'm able to like summon a champion, like if I just have Vanessa or Drake like just shooting a unit and I'm just sitting in my back 2 rows, like that's a very viable strat for Mal too against some factions. And Balzar is definitely that. And yeah, it seems like Balzar is struggling to maintain this pressure. That's kind of the name of the game. I don't know, like when you're playing Balzar, do you like to be a very slow and methodical approach? Do you just like to get in there and see what happens.
I am biased. I had a lot of fun in the two most recent League matchups, which I think were very atypical Balzar games. So the last two League matchups were Fallen Kingdom versus Obsidian Dwarves and Cave Goblins against Obsidian Dwarves, and those were survival games for Balzar.
Mhm.
Like, that was not typical, I'm gonna pick Balzar because I'm an aggressive player, and I'm gonna march with my casino upfield. So I had fun playing defensive Balzar, but I don't think that's typical Balzar. I mean, I think
Yeah,
Balzar has better tools for that than people give him credit for. I think those were both very even and fun matchups, but you had to make slightly different discard decisions, and really you were just playing to keep him safe. So March Up the Field Balzar is definitely not my game, but I would say unless I have the pieces, this is as far in anyone's face as I want to be. If you're just going by sort of distance between summoners, there's 3 spaces between the summoners already.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and, I would not usually have, again, with 4 magic, there's a lot of options, but if you're gonna summon the Hellforge, then there's units you can't afford.
it's tough
So
to get the Hellforge
it's
in this early too. It's like,
yeah.
do you have stuff in your discard pile? Are you gonna be able to use that? We'll have to see.
Yeah, so this is far up for what I'm comfortable with. But what I'm comfortable with is these drawn out shootouts that go down to the last summoner and the last card. So this is definitely out of my comfort zone as a player, but that's what makes all these factions fun.
Yeah,
That's what makes the
yeah.
fire factions exciting.
I feel like Balzar pushes me out of my comfort zone as a player just inherently. I feel like I was actually just totally playing him wrong for like a solid half a year after his release. Like I just always be like, why am I losing the late game? And the answer that I finally got is you shouldn't be playing for the late
Yeah,
game.
why are you playing Balzar for value?
And that's just my default way of approaching any deck in Summoner Wars.
No, like I said, the two league matchups, I felt like I went to end game and probably all 4 of them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, those are more
So
grindy, as you
it's,
said.
but those were more Balzar survives long enough to
Yeah.
get his tools out. Whereas, like I said, I wasn't really sure about Phoenix Elves versus Obsidian Dwarves. I took a look at some games people sent me, and definitely the first thing that jumped out was how far forward both those gates are. There's an entire early game you're kind of skipping because both sides are already at midfield from turn 1.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But again, I actually feel like that works in Phoenix Elves' favor because Moldaria, usually you're kind of struggling to get her from the back row to somewhere in the front lines where she won't get killed. But from where she's standing right now in this particular starting setup, she can just swing back and forth to the left and to the right of that gate for as long as Balzar is willing to play into that game. And I do think that if Balzar plays into that game, he loses. If he just tries to get into a shootout with Moldaria, he'll run out of Ember Guards as blockers, whereas she can use anything as a blocker. So he does have to either move up or move back.
Yeah.
And again, it's really, we're more wondering what he has in hand than I think what Moldaria has in hand. She's
Yeah.
likely to have a pretty steady stream of units and events that she can make work for her. She's not as likely to be building towards a hand or building towards a combo or, just trying to buy time until she gets the pieces she wants. Um, so that's kind of why my take on this matchup is she's ready now, and we don't really know about him. And I'll
Yeah.
say this too, definitely the first couple of turns of the game, that's when I'm sitting there thinking the longest.
Yeah.
If I'm Fiddleford, or sorry, if I'm Iridium,
They do have an axe
you
in the
know.
discard pile. Sorry, continue.
Ooh, do we know that? Where did we find that?
They just equipped it.
Oh, of course, of course.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, 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 no. That's it's a lot to keep track of. It's been my long-standing complaint. I wish it were easier to just follow, who discarded what and the game history. But you're right, of course, that unit got destroyed already.
Yeah. Oh, did they place
Um,
it? Yeah, we're not following at
or
all.
did they place it? No, no, no.
They took it back. They had it on for a second. Yeah. So what do you think about
Okay.
this setup? Yeah. So to me, this feels like, oh, good. Like if I'm in balls at this spot, it's like, okay, this game might be over real quick, and it might be real bad for me. But balls are moving to that gate. Like I guess you're defended there. Like so, what
I
do you think
mean,
about that?
I don't know. I think Balzar has a gate, and we know, so we know at least that, he's not fighting his draw to the extent that, I don't have a gate. I don't know what am I going to do with my pieces?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't really know anything else. I don't think I've seen him summon units. If chat wants to ever correct us while we're walking and chewing gum, that would be hugely appreciated. But yeah, it's my personality. I would probably be pulling back and amassing forces until
Ooh,
I think I'm ready. And that's
that's
not normal Balzar, but he's closer to the action than I would normally be ready for at this stage in the game, given draw pile and
this could be
everything
game
else.
over right now.
I
Right
don't
now.
think it's game over. I
The,
mean, I don't think either of these players are gonna just walk into each other's traps.
well, that's sort of what it's looking like. I'm seeing four direct damage and then two range could be on the board right now.
Well, that's like I said, I think Moldoria's ready out at the gate in a way
Yeah.
Balzar isn't, and no one playing Balzar really wants to retreat. Like
Yeah.
if that's your main faction, retreat is not your style. Retreat's my style. Retreat is not an Obsidian Dwarf player's style. Let's just put it
You
that
gotta have
way.
the dice on your side, and they do, so we're fine. Two for two. Yeah, and and so they were punished. We had the Ember Archer, we had the Way of the Phoenix to punish that position, but honestly, I don't know if I would say that moving up with Balzar there was a mistake. Maybe you think I'm a little bit
No.
behind, and what I do is I put more pressure, and that position was pretty good. It got punished, but you have to take risks with Balzar, is my impression at least.
Oh, there's plenty of time, plenty of gate placements. I mean, I certainly don't think, 2 turns in we know anything about this game. I'm just saying based on my general sense of
Yeah.
tempo. If I'm Balzar, I'm usually like sweating for an Oath Sworn, sweating for those rolls, wanting to amass some boosts before making that big push. But again, this is what I meant about juggling flaming torches, which I have tried, by the way, in my younger and stupider days.
Oh
So
goodness.
this is personal experience here. It's just kind of neither faction is that you know difficult to play. Compared to some of these more complex Summoner Wars factions, I think
Yeah.
for both of them you can get punished pretty hard for a mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
9 hit point Maldaria, I think, is everyone's first lesson in just, a hair out of place and you're dead. Um, and, Balzar has to take those high rolls. Balzar, it's less did I screw up and more, were the dice gods with me. But, win you don't win by taking safe rolls with Balzar, or you never feel safe. Let me put it
Yeah.
this way: you can take rolls that are appropriate for the odds, but you never feel like in the turn that you have a safe game. Fungal dwarf turns where you're pretty sure of you're sweating whether that beast is going to get a kill on a 2 life unit. But you know that the melee odds of 3 swords are like 90%. So
Hmm.
you're kind of hosed if you lose the roll, but you're expecting the roll. Whereas balls are like waiting for those lightnings is it's painful. You don't know the way you have more sense of the melee rolls, what the odds are.
Yeah.
Whereas balls are, you want there to be enough rolls in the game that the lightnings even themselves out. Over
Yeah.
the course of a lot of rolls, you get your boosts. So you're playing a medium long game just to get the dice odds to even themselves out. But like you said, you're not playing the long game. You're not playing to this econ end game of like, carefully trading units until your units you have slightly more gas in the tank than your opponent.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's not Balzar's game either.
Yeah,
Um,
and so look at that. That's a full board wipe. So Like Maldaria's put so much dice on
Oh my
Balzar.
goodness.
Balzar
Wait,
has
wait,
to.
wait, wait.
Are you back behind?
No, no, no. I am behind. I was looking at the history.
Oh, that'll happen.
I need to catch. No, no, no. I need to catch. I need to catch up and press play. Oh my goodness. All
You're
right,
good.
I'm rewatching the
I'll
game.
I'll let you
You
watch it.
can talk. No,
Okay.
no, no. You can talk. You can play for time. But I've been missing what's going on. I'm just gonna watch again from turn one.
The,
So this is what happens. I'm watching the game in a separate window in the link window. I'm not watching your stream at all. I have chat in one window and the replay in the other. So let's see this full board wipe you speak of.
yeah, yeah. Well, you're behind enough that you didn't see the dice to almost kill Balzar as well. We had that the turn before, but now Mal's put all these resources into Balzar, and Balzar can retreat. I think Balzar can retreat and just be out of the game forever. That's not what you want, but hey, maybe there's some sort of econ game plan that probably involves champions. Real Sammy goes by Iridium in the Discord. They've definitely discarded enough to maybe favor that champ strategy, um, and there's even worlds where you can safely keep Balzar in the front. Some factions you'd just be lucky to even be alive from this situation. So we had another turn there, Fiddleford, just taking a small shot and not exposing many units. That makes sense. Seems good. We do have that chains on that berserker, so we're probably going to be able to attack that Ember Mage right there. Um, and yeah, it's not Mal is just keeping Balzar at a foot away. This definitely isn't what we're looking for Balzar, or at least this is the fact that Balzar has taken this much damage. That means it's going to be a different type of game. We can't do this aggression. We can't do this gate pressure that we want because Mal does have enough tools to probably be able to kill Balzar at some point. So we're going to have to play some other sort of champion heavy game. It's going to be an uphill battle, but not an unwinnable one. You think
That's for sure.
have you caught up here?
I am still catching up. This
Oh
is
no, yeah.
no, no, no. This has been an incredible amount of once I started reviewing the game, I just forgot that it wasn't going. So this is a first stream experience for me.
Yeah, and this
Um
is we're both figuring this out, so forgive any technical difficulties and whatnot.
oh, well, this is error lies between chair and keyboard, but I mean this is as fast as it gets, and this is what I was saying about Balzar getting up in Maldaria's face this quickly. I don't actually think I was that wrong for the amount of BSing I was doing blind.
No, what you're
But
saying
let's,
is exactly what we've been seeing. Yeah, Balzar needs to get
yeah,
up there, and
that's,
Mal has just been comfortably sitting back and damaging Balzar, from just where she is.
oh my god, I feel like a true seeker right now. I've commentated like half this game blind.
There you go.
I,
Yeah.
I, I am quite impressed with myself there. But yeah, this is exactly, this is not, I mean, this is not horrific though. This is definitely not,
We didn't die,
horrific.
so we're
Yes.
and Balzar can retreat to safety, so it'll be all right.
I mean, Maldara is definitely in kind of her sweet spot, but Balzar does have choices. And Balzar has boosts as well.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe those will be used for demons. I don't. So if I'm asking you to play a game with Balzar at 2 health, what's the game plan there? You got to do something weird. Like what sort of strats are you thinking?
You're playing to get that last big turn. You're playing for some sort of Delvura volcanic blast. You can't retaliate because you're dead turn.
Yeah.
I don't think he has enough staying power to really win without that, but he's certainly capable of winning with that. You know, he's certainly capable of having the firepower for I don't care if I'm at 2 health, because if you're dead, you're not going to retaliate.
Yeah, and there's some factions like if I was playing Balzar against Sarah and I was at 2 health, I don't even know if I would retreat. Like there's some factions that are just predictable enough that like I feel like I can maintain a defensive setup and keep Balzar in the pressure. Now Mal has a bit more tricks up her sleeve than Sarah, but they are still somewhat predictable. So I don't think it's out of the question that we see Balzar advance here. We're also seeing now there's way more Obsidian Dwarves units on the board than Maldaria units, and this is your classic. If one faction pours a ton of resources into doing early damage on the summoner and it doesn't kill, well, now that's just naturally they're going to have an advantage on the board. So this might maybe just a swing with the board, enough early pressure could be another way right now.
No, exactly what you said. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this game. Really, like you said, that damage to the summoner means resources spent there that aren't going elsewhere. And this has given Obsidian Dwarves time. We're looking now at Real Sammy's at 2 magic, so not that close to getting a champ on the board. There's Oathsworn on the board that maybe aren't going to live long enough to give boosts at a time when you want them to.
Yeah.
So this is where you kind of have to pivot to sort of subtle trading, the subtle end game trading of
Yeah.
let's make these units last for as long as we can, because I've lost count of how many Ember guards have come and gone. I don't know
I
if you've
can
been keeping
I
count.
can figure that out real quick. Summon Ember Guard. Four. They're all gone. Uh, all four have come down.
All right, and how many Oathsworn? I mean,
Uh,
there's two on the field now,
yeah, as well.
obviously.
One second. Three. So we got one more.
Right,
And
but
yeah,
I mean, look at us commentating while Moldaria is alone on the field.
yeah,
So this is our end game bias showing. This is, I think, the two of us love to play for end game and start sweating when Balzar's down to 2 health without weapons. But let's look at what's actually going on, which is 1 Phoenix Elf unit versus 7 Obsidian Dwarves.
yeah. Though,
So
and so,
this.
huh?
Oh, no, I'm just saying this is a little bit of the I think bias in our own play styles
Yeah,
here.
yeah, and the Balzar is making it work. I think like if Fiddleford Maldaria was at like 7 magic right now, I'd say okay, we got this, because then
Yeah.
we can put like Vanessa right in front of that Oathsworn. We're not worried about any AoE damage from Balzar. We can just sit down and like shoot down these lines the entire game. And it's fine. Like Balzar's units aren't great for value, so even though we're way behind on board right now, we can bottleneck this just by throwing down these lanes. I'm guessing we're going to start seeing some aggressive discarding from Fiddleford. Last turn, Real Sammy held 2 cards in hand. I'm not sure what those were. I think I probably would have wanted to discard more as well there. Those could be valuable. I feel like you need champs in this matchup. And I wouldn't want to discard another Oath Sworn and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely Real Sammy has, if their hand is clogged, those are tough choices.
Yeah.
They're things you can't discard at this point.
Do you discard Volcanic
Uh,
Blast at this point? I think I would. Uh,
um, yeah, I would figure you're getting one Volcanic Blast in.
yeah,
Save the
maximum.
last one, and you're not getting one of those little, one or the cute little 1 or 2 hit volcanic blast that just buys you slightly better board position. I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
So you're probably, pitch the first one and hope the second one makes for a splashy endgame.
Yeah, and I guess something that I wasn't thinking about as well is like we have the Hellforge on board. And the Hellforge is
The
one.
Hellforge is just sitting
The
there.
Hellforge is just sitting
Yeah.
there at 6 health. The Hellforge is one sure path to econ victory with Balzar. Like just getting 6 units that will have +2 attack for at least one turn. That's crazy, and that could lead to more of an end game grindy victory. And yeah, when I'm looking at the resource count, so Fiddleford, 2 magic, 5 cards in hand, eight in deck, compared to Iridium, 2 magic, five in hand. I guess we just played one. Well, so we'll say 4 in hand. It's and 7 in deck. It's pretty equivalent. And when I look on the board too, I see I see a 2 magic unit and then another 2 magic unit on both sides, and then a 1 magic unit, a 1 magic unit. It seems like we're pretty tied up. Iridium, like probably a little bit ahead, even on value wise with the Hellforged. Obsidian Dwarfs playing for the econ game here could be viable. It's not like we lost all of our resources doing that push. Sort of the opposite was true. That Mal lost a lot of resources getting that 11 damage on Balzar.
Right. And I think you have to credit both players when they each prevent champ play. There's definitely an art to that as well, is just getting up enough common pressure and, maybe hoping for some hand clog that, I'm sure, you know, I'm sure they would, I think this ship might have, I don't know if it sailed for Balzar, but definitely it's, looking tough to get any value from Volcor. The with two Oathsworn gone, it's harder to get
Yeah,
boost on Davura because it's
yeah,
just harder to take safe shots with Balzar.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Maldaria just doesn't have the magic for her champs at the moment.
yeah, yeah,
So in common trading, it's tighter than it looks. I think both these factions aren't really built for trading commons.
yeah, yeah,
There are
exactly.
things they can both be econ efficient when there's other pieces to help their commons. For example, Heleus just
Yeah,
you know, increasing the attack value of her commons. So that they both have kind of knobs to twiddle
yeah,
that can make common trading more effective, but common trading by in and of itself, neither of these factions is inherently by the numbers terribly great.
yeah,
They both need other factors in the atmosphere in order to make their common trading efficient.
yeah. No, that's so true, and it seems like they're honestly similar in the regard where like the summoner is the big power engine of the deck, and you can pivot to champions as well, like Holias and whatnot, what you mentioned, and yeah, now that you mentioned that, Devura and Volcor, the two Balzar champions, aren't going to be very useful since we don't really have ways to get boosts anymore. I'm thinking uh we're just gonna have to milk the Hellforge as much as we have. Hopefully those last 9 cards, hopefully they're all berserkers. Like hopefully we just have a bunch of commons that we can play, that we can use the Hellforge value. Maybe I think we still have one Oathsworn. I mean, so maybe we could get Volcar out there and do something. And Devura just has a good stat line as well. But
It
generally,
might come down to that. It might come down to Devura's stat line.
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this though, and I'm thinking, like, despite that board we had, I'm thinking that Phoenix Elves are ahead. I'm thinking like Balzar is gonna just struggle to push down these two lines between these gates. We're just gonna keep trading over there, and I think Maldaria is gonna win those trades at the end of the day because she's just one of those lanes. She's gonna be hitting for 4 every single turn, and that's gonna beat a lot of what the Balzar has, especially since this forge is only going to be able to be equipping stuff down one lane. I think we noticed earlier it seemed like Fiddleford like was putting like the Ember Beast down the lane more on the right, and that's like out of range of where we could get a forge equipped. So
Oof, yeah.
it's
I've lost track of how many berserkers he has left as well.
let's see.
Well, I guess he has beasts. He has ember demons left. But yeah, that's well. Let's see how this turn goes.
Yeah, we've only
It might
summoned
be. I mean,
Yeah, we've only summoned one. Now we've summoned two, so it's only been two berserkers. So we got a shot. The Forge berserker value. That dream is alive.
we're waiting for anything to come out of the forge. Actually,
Yeah,
this is you're at that pizza restaurant waiting for your food.
and
There we go.
there we go. It's coming. I'm guessing an. So I don't. I'm not actually sure because don't we? Is Balzar gonna move up or something? Like so, I'm looking at that gate spot in front of Balzar and thinking, how are we occupying that? Yep, Balzar's
I think
Balzar's
he
grabbing
has
it,
to.
and that's not even bad. Like, because I feel like we're behind as Balzar right now. Um, maybe we need to get some sort of weird volcanic blast thing to work, even at 2 health, in order to get the game. So, that sort of makes sense to me.
Well, Maldaria, those 9 health, it doesn't take that much for, let's say, Ember Beast goes 3 out of 3. Well, that Berserker's in the way is the problem.
Yeah,
Like Balzar can't take a shot at Maldaria and Volcanic Blast through his own unit and the Archer.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know how many times I've, in the course of learning this game, I've put, 3 damage on Maldaria and just can't get to her for the rest of the game. But let's see what happens. Let's watch this roll.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, like you said, 3 damage on Maldaria can be huge. And one slip up,
We're,
one instance of that's all
you
3.
know, we're getting close to where he can corner her.
Yeah, yeah, and one slip up, like one turn that you're only defended with a weak unit that gets volcanic blasted, and she's dead. Um,
Yep, and Fiddleford only has 1 magic.
or
So we don't even know what he can summon
no,
actually.
Fiddleford's up to 5 right now.
Oh wait, no, sorry. I was looking at the wrong
Oh
number.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I was looking at that big 1 badge.
yeah, yeah,
That
no, for
like that
sure.
big shiny you played in the first season badge. All right,
Yeah,
here comes a champ. Yeah.
Vanessa. That'll yeah. Are we
And
gonna?
and this is where Maldaria's buff is going to come into play too.
Oh yeah, oh
You
yeah.
can summon Vanessa from all the way over to on that far gate, and she can be next to Maldaria whenever she feels like it.
Yeah, yeah. And so for those that don't know, this new ability, I guess call protection and save the queen have both been changed from the original from the master set. Call protection can now summon champions, and save the queen protects units that are adjacent to you from being shot through or forced. So Maldaria has a few more tricks up her sleeve than she had when first released. And that'll come in huge there with just being able to summon Vanessa back to protect if we need to, which it looks like we're going to since we just missed that demon big. That's unfortunate because we kind of prefer to just have Vanessa guarding that line.
Well, I mean, it's not the worst Maldaria whiff that I've ever seen or experienced.
We're not dead.
We're not dead.
And that's we'll take that when playing against Balzar in particular. I feel like against like Balzar and Wayfarers, I sort of have this like mindset that's different than other factions of I just need to not die. Like I don't need to play for value. I don't need every trade to be perfect. I just need to live till the end game. Like I can just put up like a 3 magic like bear calf blocker. Like I don't care if it is total waste of value. I just need to get to the end and yeah, that Vanessa is
I'm
gonna help with that.
not gonna lie. I find those matchups fun. I almost find it more fun to be the scrappy defender than the charging forward. Charging forward with all the cavalry.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what that says about what's your Summoner Wars type. Is that I'm like the cornered rat that enjoys hunkering down.
yeah. Oh no, are you gonna leave that gate spot open? That seems a little dangerous.
Oof.
Anyone know if they release an updated card for Maldara yet? Yeah, they're gonna in some release it'll be updated. Oh, so I guess actually I should have specified when I say
Oh
that
wait.
it's still tentative. Oh, Hellforge next. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I think I was just gonna respond to that. Is that I don't think they've committed to it, right?
Yeah, so they haven't committed to it. I should have said that. At some point, I mean, I think a lot of the feedback is generally positive, so I'd be very surprised if we didn't get some sort of change like it. Um, but yeah, we're not committed to it, and whenever they finalize it, similar to how they finalized the Sarah change and the Ice Ram change, um, then it will come down.
All right,
Uh,
2 for 2 on the gate.
yeah, and I guess we're just hoping to bust this gate. That was a crazy roll. How much damage? How many
Oh
specials did
yeah.
we just roll there? I think the Oath Swarm was planning on busting the gate, but now we don't need to. The balls are still exposed. uh, any range unit can kill him right now. Ember Archer would be the end of it.
Well, we don't see an Ember Archer right out the gate.
See
Oh
the message. The only way I won
well,
my
let's.
oh that's good. I see this message. Oh, Iridium says in our chat, oops. Well, sometimes it be like that. Balzer has to play it risky. Um,
I've sent false oops before. I've definitely um prematurely oopsed my own death when I was still alive.
Yeah, no,
So
I've
we
definitely sent messages to opponents being like, "Oh, you totally got me in this one, like GG," and then I end up winning, and it's like, well, I look really bad now.
all right, Ember
Ember
Mage.
Mage, at least
Ember
it's not an
Mage.
archer. At least if it's an archer,
Exactly.
yeah, you gotta take what we can get. Ember Mage, more likely than not to miss. Now, not that I forget what it is, like a 45% chance to kill Balzar right now, but we'll take that.
Yep,
We're
two
we're
Ember
we're
Mages.
still in there. And
Yep,
Moldaria's
keeping it
pressed up
exciting.
against a corner. Like only had two magic starting this turn. Yeah, it feels like a slip up. Yeah, I think that's what Iridium was saying. But that's a miracle of live games. I'm kind of sad that spectating we don't get to see what their clocks are anymore. But they're both playing on 45-minute clocks, so you don't have infinite time like in the app to just sit and go through every single play one by one.
Or sit there winding and unwinding turns the way anyone who's ever played against me has undoubtedly experienced.
Yeah, I
Just
think.
when the opponent shows their entire
Well,
hand.
then,
All right, let's
and this
watch
is
this
it,
roll.
and there it is, and that's the game, and that'll
Oh.
cost you just one slip up. Yeah, and it looks like it was gonna be close there at the end. Oh, suddenly we can see Real Sammy's hand at the end there. We had Willpower and Avura and Volcanic Blast, up against a 4 health Vanessa and two Ember Mages. I could see it going either way. I think this ended up very close, and I don't blame Iridium at all for moving up there, and putting the pressure on. I think it was a very very close game.
No, absolutely. And again, this is Balzar. You have to take chances. That was, a coin flip that he lost.
Yeah. All right. So
Uh,
I'm gonna go ahead and start a chat with players. I think they both said they're down, and so we'll chat for another 20 minutes, and then that'll be it. Maybe I'm gonna start everyone on mute real quick. Just while we load this up, just wait for a second.
Find the call.
Oh, here we go. I can hear
Um,
you. How's it going?
I'm good. Do we have everyone here?
Yeah. Iridium, are you here? Hey, how's it going? And Fiddleford, you here as well?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going?
Okay, great. That was an awesome game. That was really close. That was fun to watch. Could we just start real quick, just by having you two introduce yourselves? Maybe we can start with Iridium. Maybe you could just talk about when you first got into Summoner Wars, and something that interests you about the game, something that maybe your favorite faction, your favorite way to play, or something like that.
Oh yeah, hey. So I'm Iris. I started playing when was that? That was it fall of last year, I think?
Something like that.
Actually, yeah, actually, Ben here is the one who got me into the game. Sat me down. We played a game or two every week for a while there. And I love Summoner Wars so much. I think like I play a lot of like Magic the Gathering is the other big game I play. And the thing that Summoner Wars has that I think really sets it apart from a lot of other sort of similar games is the dice. I love the dice a lot. I think it adds the randomness that it adds is one of the what makes it like really fun, I think. And I love playing Summoner Wars. My favorite Summoner Wars is to get up in my opponent's face. My favorite faction for a while was Wayfarers, for obvious reasons. I really like Obsidian Dwarves because you can get up there and you can volcanic blast their gates and everything. And I also really, really like High Elves, which is they play a little differently, but I do also love to just put Valeria, all the way up there, put Law of Sanctity down, and start swinging. That's basically me, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. I love to hear that. I love to see more aggressive players. I love to hear love for the dice. I also uh big fan of the Summoner Wars dice. And yeah, let's switch to you, Fiddleford. How did you first get into the game, and what's something that interests you about it?
Howdy, I'm Spencer. I go by Fiddleford. I played a lot of First Edition, actually, pretty casually, but that was how I started with the game. Then moved on to Second Edition. The app is so nice, and the game is even better. I love this game, like Iridium said. I think one of my favorite parts about it is just the positioning aspect. It's really unique to this type of card game, and like for Phoenix Elves, for example, I love marking those commons in between those gates and forcing that kind of interaction. I think that's really fun.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, great. And so we can just chat about the game here. I'll cut us off in 16 minutes, whenever we're done. But tell me about how you're feeling that game. Tell me about what felt like the big swings of fate, how you felt you needed to approach that matchup. Just curious to hear from both of you, what your mindset is going in and as you're playing it.
So obviously, that last turn, I left myself wide open and absolutely didn't need to. That was a big mistake. Although even my plan for winning was did rely on you not putting down that last gate. That last gate in front of Moldaria
Yeah, yeah,
sort of
yeah.
sealed the deal. I was holding onto that the coordinate not coordinate, sorry, willpower volcanic blast, and I was and as well as Devura. The last cards in my hand were uh, willpower volcanic blast, Devura, and also Volcor, because Devura, Volcor, and the gate, my last gate, were like the last cards of my deck. Not super where I wanted to see them, but I was trying to set up something with that Ember Demon maybe, and like blast the gate and shoot Moldaria twice. But that obviously doesn't work so well when you've got that third gate. Yeah, I was not happy to see the 3 gates on turn like 2 or 3.
That's rough.
Um, I
That's
was trying to do sort of mid game some like that gate denial, get a few attacks in on him where I could, but with all 3 gates I couldn't. The sort of the plan of focusing on just destroying the gates wasn't really gonna work for me.
Yeah, that was definitely a good draw. That last gate at the end was nice. Like you said, I've been holding on to that for a while. Just gotta watch the boost and then Moldaria's health for Volcanic Blast. I was like, well, this is probably the time to get this done. But yeah, I tried to end it early with that 2 out of 2, like on like turn 4.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, that was really rough. I will be honest with you, I completely forgot that the card burn existed and could be used during the move phase.
Pretty good. But then I had to settle into more of a longer game.
Mm-hmm.
Just
No,
poking
you
everyone
set
in.
that up really well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy how there could be so much pressure there at the beginning, just like on the edge of our seat, like, oh no, it's balls are gonna die, gonna be able to swing it, and yet like, it feels, at least from my end, like we ended up with a pretty tight late game. It seemed like you guys were around even with resources. If that if that Ember Mage hadn't hit, I don't know who I'd say would win. I know Iridium, you're saying you're going for the Gatebuster victory there. Though it's still, it seems like value wise, like you're still competing, which normally balls are struggles to. Um,
That late game, I was feeling I at least was feeling like I was definitely on the back foot there,
mhm.
trying to like I had to do something crazy with the volcanic blast and the Devura perhaps. Um, I
There was
got some weird draws. The bottom of my deck was like, but both of my non-Hellforge champions. There was a gate in there, an axe and a chains, and so I was sort of out of units to put on the table,
Yeah.
because if I'm playing one of my champions and not the other for sure.
There was a lot of health left on the forge, which was not, I guess you said your events were buried though.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure where I should put the forge. I think I made probably the wrong decision there. And even then, maybe I didn't need the forge. Yeah, because like I only used it once, which was unfortunate. And like I had axe in my discard pile. Since you destroyed the first, that first one that had axe on it. But they're just well, especially with where I put the forge down, there was never really a good target for axe.
I mean, you guys both kept your cool. I mean, there was definitely, I think, a pivot once Balzar was down to 2 health. And,
For sure.
Ben and I were speculating, all right, what happens now? But, I mean, at the time, I think Maldaria only, at that point, or a couple turns in, only had 2 magic. So she wasn't fully into her game yet either. I mean, she definitely had the gate placement she wanted. But while you guys were just kind of trading commons there, it definitely wasn't clear to Ben and I up in the booth, who actually had advantage. Just because, once, as Ben was saying on stream, once um, any player invests a lot into putting damage on the enemy summoner, that comes out of somewhere. In that case, it was units on the board. So there was kind of a funny moment where Ben and I were like, "Oh my god, what are Obsidian dwarves gonna do? What are their options?" And there was like Maldaria alone, surrounded by 7, 7 Obsidian dwarves. So,
I definitely feel
it's
pretty good about the way I built back that board, that big board presence after that big turn.
yeah. I mean, I think that was from my perspective, watching live, what you just kind of have to do. Because you were stalling for time getting to your volcanic blasts and champs. Um, so I mean, again, commenting live in the moment sometimes hard to tell, but I thought you were doing pretty well with the common trading. With just build up, move on, pivot, and let's just round 2, phase 2. Let's just keep trucking.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we've heard from you, Iridium, that like you felt like you were on the back foot for a lot of that matchup after Balzar first got damaged. Fiddleford, how were you feeling? Like just from the I guess from the very beginning, middle, and then end. Were you feeling comfortable like you were going to be able to hold that position? Were you feel like there was too much pressure? Maldaria was going to break. Did you feel like you have the late game?
I felt pretty good about it all the way through. Especially, I mean, I didn't really get hit till those last couple turns. So as Moldaria, you can kind of chill at 9 HP for a while. Then I had that gate in hand, and I brought up Finessa. Those were both good end game things. The thing about Balzar on 2 health is that even if he does do something crazy and Volcanic Blast me, like it's gonna be an all or nothing play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that helps me feel a little better, maybe.
Yeah.
I
So
would have still been sweating. Maybe that's just me.
yeah, how are you?
It's just no,
Yes.
go on.
How are you feeling if that Ember Mage missed Fiddleford? If you had to keep playing this game, do you think you'd come out with the value or not have it?
I mean, I definitely wasn't running away with it. It was definitely close.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to judge games like this. Sorry, fuzzy-marmot, you're gonna say something.
Oh no, I was just letting you talk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always what I'm wondering. If it were a live game, I'd be like, okay, okay. If I'm playing with my husband, it's like, okay, okay, undo that last roll, and let's play as if it didn't happen, and let's just explore the alternate reality, the alternate universe outcome. And sometimes sad when you can't do that. I would have been curious who could have taken it to the end game, or taken it to the bottom. I don't think we'd have seen the bottom of the decks, but I would have been curious how that played out.
Yeah, I'm curious actually, Fiddleford, like what you had left there.
Let me check. I had
So I,
two
I
It
think
blue
wasn't.
I only
hand.
saw two Ember Mages, I think. And
I had my other burn, my other retribution,
mhm.
and beast and a guardian. About it.
More units than I had for sure. Which is pretty big for you, especially when all of my guys are smoldering.
Yeah, I think that actually answers Ben's question pretty conclusively. Who would have made it to the end game?
Yeah, it's always so
Yeah.
hard for me to see. Just looking at a board, it's like, oh, it looks close, but yeah, with only a few units on board, and I guess all your other units are kind of dying this turn. So yeah, I guess that does.
I think it's part of I almost think as a spectator, it drives me nuts that I can't, you can't switch the perspectives if you're watching replays. But I will say this is about as much information as I can take in if I'm trying to watch the game and talk about it. I don't know if I can process both hands at the same time in real time.
Which viewpoint did y'all have?
We had Iridiums. We had Balzar. Though we don't get to see cards at hand or anything, so it doesn't really affect anything. Because the game hasn't finished.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I
You
think
can't
the
see like
right.
discard piles either, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Only cards that you've played we can see.
I mean, you can see the counts, obviously, but what cards who has,
Right,
and
right.
especially
The
while you're
hidden
playing live,
information, yeah.
it's yeah. I'll say this though, it's a lot to process. Um, it's I think I asked once, I think somewhere in the Discord, like, hey, if you're teaching someone new, how about if I'm teaching someone new, how about I play open-handed and they can see my cards too, and everyone just shot that down. They're just like,
I like that, I think, yeah.
No, no, no. I think oh gosh, I'm trying to remember who. Someone actually tried it and they just said it was information overload.
Mm-hmm.
The new
Like,
player just,
I can totally see that though, yeah.
cuz already, already there's some people you play with that you don't want to overload them with rules, you don't want to just bombard them. And when they tried it, their partner just got bombarded. It's just like, this is just too many cards to read. I can't make heads or tails of it. This is not useful information to me. I think Summoner Wars is pretty darn stellar as an async game in that the amount of information you have available to you on your turn that you have to make that tactical decision with is it's really just right. 5 cards in hand, 3 moves, 3 attacks. To me, it's kind of just the right amount of, cognitive load I can handle. Um, like, I'll say this, the more I play, the slower I get. But when I first got into the game, just everyone jokes about the pre-coffee turns and that sort of thing. It was just really perfect to just pick up, dive back in, pick up, re-ingest the board state and, take your turn and go on with your day. I wish I could play like that now instead of overthinking everything. Um, but I
Hmm.
think it definitely speaks to the game design.
Yeah, no, I love that so much about Summoner Wars that I can just, if I've got 5 minutes at work, I can, take a turn or two, and then not like be committed for 45 minutes to an hour,
Yeah,
Well,
it's
or longer for like a full game.
yeah.
I've chatted with this with people on the Discord. Is there's really no other game that's like this for me. Like my husband and I've tried to play like La Havre and Kalis, online, and then there's a big break, and, neither of us remembers, where we were at, what our strategy was by the time we get back to the game. I think Summoner Wars, probably Waterdew was the one who articulated this. There's a lot of strategy and a lot of tactics, but they're far enough removed from each other that you're not overloaded at any given time. Like the strategy I would see as, like the opening board state. Am I playing for econ? Am I playing for aggression? Um, you know, me, just kind of the big picture. But the tactics of what's in my hand this turn, what moves are within the realm of possibility, it's just tight and comprehensible. And I just love that marriage. And I could go on about the game design forever. It's just that there's this big picture that's very deep, just, between like, the strengths and weaknesses of the deck and the starting setups and just everything that kind of guides how you play overall versus just what's in my hand now, these tight dice rolls that determine, what am I going to be able to do next turn, but you're not planning like 5 turns ahead either. I've just, I just really love that, that marriage of strategy and tactics. I think it's what keeps, definitely kept me at the table a lot longer than I would have ever imagined for a board game online.
Yeah, for sure. And I think part of that too is what Iridium brought up of the dice. Like just somehow everything works out that you're thinking about it, but you're not overthinking, and you don't need to plan out 20 turns. And somehow it's easy to just pick up a turn, just off your phone and take just one turn and put it back. And it's just as easy to introduce it to new players as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
some miracle that we have this game.
And I mean, I love that you've set up this series, Ben, really just for the sake of getting to know the people that, I've been on the Discord with for this long and just being able to chat like this. Like, I remember when, other people have done similar YouTube videos, Level 3 CPU did that Summoner Showdown. You know, I was a lot more in awe of those guys than I hope anyone is of us. I
For the
definitely
people.
no, but I mean, for me having been in the community longer, it's very different doing it now than it was watching the videos when I was just starting out and just, figuring these are the experts, they know everything about this game, and it's just different. But now I'm just like hearing voices and talking to people. And there's a fun fact with this group that probably won't be true for any other Summoner Scuffles, which is just that everyone's met in person. Like, this is actually not a coincidence that this is the first group that Ben decided to bring on. Um, my
Yeah.
husband and I got a chance to play Spirit Island with Ben when we were traveling, and I heard you guys met up at Gen Con. How did that go?
Oh, that was so great.
We
It
played
was
the
it was great to like. Sorry, yeah. Go ahead.
Red.
I don't know, it was just great to see like I don't know to play with more people in person, and just like sort of put a face to some of the people I've been doing those public queue games online for however long now.
Oh,
It was a blast. That was more Summoner Wars at once than I've probably ever played at any other time.
I take it all three of you played in the tournament.
Yep. Uh, we did. I I played my first mirror matches actually in the tournament. That was a fun one. Uh,
Oh, I've never
I,
experienced that.
it's I think some of them might be fun. Some of them I know from experience definitely aren't quite as fun. Um,
Which ones did you get to experience?
I got the Cloaks mirror round one,
Oh God.
which was actually like incredibly fun. I lost that one. Made a bit of a silly mistake, and my opponent had some real good Cloaks moves. Um, and then round I think it was four, right? Uh, Round
Yeah.
4, Fiddleford and I actually played each other in the High Elves mirror.
Oh my god, that sounds painful.
There was a lot of atonement, you know. It was pretty painful.
That sounds like one of those life experiences I need to like hear about from someone else without ever directly experiencing myself. Oh my
No,
god. How
yeah.
do you play that real time? You're playing that with 25-minute turns in High
Yeah.
Elf's Mirror and 2 sets of auras and all that atonement
No,
going on? Are you kidding me?
it was
I
terrible.
honestly,
I would not recommend playing it.
second that for. I honestly found that I can just with all of the auras going on, I can always just sort of assume that all of the cards have all of the auras, and that works out fine most of the time.
I do want to echo what Ira said really quick in that it was really cool to meet actual people from the community at Gen Con and like put faces to names, and that was a really unique experience.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
I
can
felt the exact
imagine.
same way. Yeah, and it was fun to and just play Summoner Wars casually in person again, and yeah, it's a blast. And I'm hoping we can keep doing more stuff like this. Keep doing live games, because that's just a real fun part of the game is just to play it live and make mistakes and talk about it. That we don't always get to do when we just have all these async games queued up.
Definitely looking forward to the arena mode when the
Cool.
Steam release drops.
Yeah, whenever we get it, hopefully soon.
If we get it. Yeah.
I actually haven't been following that so much. What's the deal with the arena mode?
There's no news.
Okay, just
Eventually,
all right, fair enough.
there's gonna be a live mode
At some
when
point.
Steam comes out. Yeah, they need to have enough of a player base, and so we're hoping when well, there used to be a 45-minute queue you could queue in just on the app, but that was gotten rid of because there just weren't enough people playing to make it make sense.
Did you ever play it? I don't even remember if I was around while that existed.
I did. I queued a few games. I think I got some to work, and sometimes you'd queue into someone and they'd just time out after 45 minutes while you watched YouTube. It didn't, yeah, didn't work super great. But it looks like our 20-minute time is done, so I think we have to call it here. That was so much fun. Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for that game. That was a nail biter. Of both of the fire factions facing off. Anyone have any closing words for that?
Thanks for having me on. It was fun. And GG.
Yeah, absolutely, great game. Well played, and it was a real fun one.
And thank you, Ben. Thank you for organizing.
Yeah,
I look forward to more of these happening in the future.
So do I. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Hope to do more. Hope to see you guys around. Play some more games.